Let me explain you what a Reviere. Reviere, they call it for a hospital, but a clinic, medical clinic. But there were no doctors, no medication, no nurses, only you put there to finish. It was a very small barrack with 2 small rooms, supposedly a clinic, but without doctors, nurses or medication. We knew there was no way out from there, only to Auschwitz by transport. One room had some 20 bunk beds and no windows. The other room was for the assessment to make inspection of the inmates to decide if to let him go back to his bunk for another day or to send him the same day with the transport. The next day I heard that inspection is always in the afternoon. We have to take off our Reviere gown and parade in front of them. They pay special attention to how steady the guy is on his feet. He has to walk a straight line. As weak as I was, I got down from my bunk and started walking around the room. A few others were doing the same. We wanted to prepare ourselves for the inspection, to walk a straight line. Not one of us was too steady on his feet, but everyone hoped to be able to pull it off in front of the SS, and this way win a day and maybe live to the end of this war. Sometime later, 2 assessmen showed up and the selection started. The couple was taking 2 inmates at a time to the SS. A few inmates didn't come back. Then came my turn with another guy. When my companion was told to walk a line, he did it pretty good. I observed that he concentrated his eyes on a spot on the wall in front of him, and this helped him to keep the balance. I did the same and succeeded walking without swaying. We were all exhausted from the selection. It didn't take too much to get us tired, but somehow glad we were spared this time. The same day, those few empty bunks were filled with other inmates. People were so overworked and starved that every day some stopped functioning. Now we were put on a starvation diet. From one day to another to the next, we grew weaker. We were not hungry anymore. We didn't have the strength to get down from the bunk, and to parade in front of the SS was a real battle. The most we succeeded to fool them was 2-3 days before going with the transport. I was already there, second week there. We didn't even try to go down from the bunk, not to strain ourselves, not to lose the last reserve of vanishing strength, to preserve it for selection. I was like in a stupor. The only thought crossing my mind was selection. And a few seconds later, again, selection. This word was on everybody's mind, and somehow, when facing my oppressor, I willed my eyes to look clearly ahead, my gait to be normal. They realize I'm longer with them than others, but finding me still capable to handle myself and not having too much room to spare in the transport truck, let me each time go back to my bunk. Almost every morning, some didn't wake up. They quickly departed this miserable place. It also happened during the day. Their bodies remained in the bunk after the selection. As I mentioned before, we were on a starvation diet. We no longer were feeling hunger. The little liquid we were getting wasn't enough for our stomachs to work normally. Everything in our bodies was slowly stopping to function. We didn't feel the need to go to the restroom anymore. Looking back, I don't even remember if there was one. They didn't expect anyone to stay long in this place. Therefore, we didn't get any towels and didn't wash ourselves. In a short time, lice were over us by the hundreds. We didn't smell pleasant either. Then, a few nights in a row, I could hardly doze off a few minutes at a time. And at inspection time, I didn't perform to their satisfaction. But to my surprise, they let me go back to my bunk each time, because others failed completely and there was not enough room in the truck, which had to make a few more pickups from other camps before continuing to the final destination. Then at night, following those few sleepless nights, I felt exceptionally weak and realized that I could hardly move my hands and my feet. So my cloudy brain came the question, how is it going to be with the selection? Am I going to be able to fool them again? Within a few minutes, in slow motion, the brain came out with an answer. Let's get off the bunk and see how I can handle myself. As soon as I put my feet down and tried to stand up, I collapsed to the floor. Nobody heard it. There was hardly any noise. We were skin and bones. In slow motion, my brain registered this fact. That's it. No more fooling them today. With the transport, tomorrow will be gone. It was hard to swallow this decision my brain took, especially when the couple had told us a day before that the war will be over any day. But that's the reality. The SS are still here, and today will be selection as normal, and there is no more strength in my body to fool them this time. Not going to see my family anymore. Now I became completely resigned to my fate. What's going to be, let it be. I fell into a semi-conscious daze.